11 o'clock here on eNCA. Good to have you with us. I'm Gareth Edwards. Workshop 17 is described as an exciting hub that exists to accelerate innovation and entrepreneurship for positive social and economic change. It's now that the workplace of over 200 entrepreneurs, innovators and professionals. Now, Workshop 17 is calling on the local co-working office industry to support designers. We're told that 70% of Workshop 17's suppliers are local, and that's always good news to hear. Nisha is the lead architect in the design of Workshop 17 office spaces. Hello to you, Nisha. Good to have you with us on the show. Just talk to us about what Workshop 17 would advise in the time of Corona. I imagine that people are looking at office spaces very differently.
Absolutely. I think, well, look, I'm no medical expert, but this global health issue is a very uncommon occurrence, and we'll definitely see a change in the way we approach our work in the future due to changes in our environment. We'll certainly see a shift in focus towards kind of increased remote working with a reliance on digital connectivity, but also greater awareness of personal health and hopefully healthier relationships to our work.
When we now start looking at 70% of your suppliers being local as well, with the issues we're seeing around the importing of materials from overseas, it's not difficult to imagine, Nisha, that 70% for your company is probably going to increase. You need to come back local and get the materials you need, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think where possible, we really try and make the most of every opportunity to showcase the work of local designers, but also the artisans in our workspace. And certainly from my point of view, it's very inspiring, but also very rewarding to be able to collaborate with these local talents in creating something that's quite unique, but also stimulating for the work environment for our members. And I think Workshop 17 has a really great respect for the expertise of our local designers in helping us bring those very bespoke concepts to life.
Do you think we're at a point now, Nisha, where companies that have got existing office designs, perhaps an open office design, do they need to completely rethink what they're doing, bring in an entire new organization to shape the look of their office, or are there little things that companies can do to try and assist with this, the self-isolation and the social distancing?
I think, well, with Workshop 17, we've seen over the last few years, there's definitely the needs of a very active and changing community obviously require a greater level of choice and customization. And we try and work very closely with our members in the role of creation, the curation, and the customization of their workspaces to help create a sense of belonging for the members, but also improve well-being, productivity, and supporting the behaviors that are required, I think, for creative thinking. Certainly, sort of with current issues, we're seeing many businesses obviously experimenting with more remote working or working from home. And obviously this increases the sharing across digital platforms, which will inevitably lead to new modes of working that are less dependent on a fixed location. But also one of the downfalls from working from home is that it can often lead to loneliness and sometimes isolation. There was a recent article recently published on our daily website where they actually refer to co-working as kind of the most effective compromise between the traditional office and remote working. And I think certainly for Workshop 17, co-working spaces are an essential part of our future economy.
It is indeed, and if you were to advise companies looking at what you guys are doing and the kind of advice and insight you're giving me, I imagine many business owners are going to say, well, I don't really want to be wasting money on this. I've got an office that has a desk and computers and people seem to be happy. What would you tell an owner of a business like that?
Well, I think we've seen an increased desire for independence, but for flexibility and also efficiency in the workplace. And this is actually something that can be enhanced and scaled using a co-working model. And I think in unpredictable economic climates, I think agility is what's actually required. And co-working provides that affordable option for businesses to really only pay for the space that they use, and then the freedom to upscale or to downsize the amount of workspace as the needs arise. I think it's important to keep in mind that in a co-working environment, you're joining a community where your office is a service and the services are conveniently outsourced, allowing one to then focus on the productivity, making connections with individuals, and then sort of day-to-day interactions.
Give me an idea where this Workshop 17 is. We're describing it as this hub that helps with innovation and entrepreneurship. As I walk through the doors, Nisha, of Workshop 17, what am I walking into?
Well, I work very closely with Workshop 17's in-house design team, and for each project, it's quite different, and we try to actually respond to the existing conditions of the site, the city, the context, but also the community that we're designing in. So each design obviously reflects the values of the Workshop 17 brand, but we're also very invested in the story that actually makes that particular building unique. So you might visit many of our spaces, some of the older buildings, the heritage sites, which each have very distinct character, but they all respond to the local context. For us, we have a strong focus on really the design thinking around workspaces in particular, and how we can actually enable people to perform and obviously do their best work, but then also encourage the multiple creative behaviors that go within any shared workspace.
Well, I appreciate your time in speaking to us this morning. It's organizations like yours that are helping people think differently about how to get their jobs done in a different space. Nisha, I appreciate your time. Nisha Parbu, the lead architect in the design of Workshop 17's office spaces. It's the small differences that can help your business continue to stay on track despite what the country is going through. Well,